Yes, so we will have recording and you can rewatch it when you need. So again, hi all. And today, as we discussed at introduction session, I will provide you some interesting lectures about how to find job. I do it now, so I am in trend and I know how processes are built, and I can share this knowledge. I will share my screen. Do you see my screen? Guys?
Yes, I can see the screen.
Yes, excellent. Okay, so I prepared some topics which will be discussed today, and I will describe all of them. And the main topic is live coding. And live coding has different types, and I describe all my experience. So here I wrote down that types of wave coding I met. So it is my experience, and I will show you which live coding I has and which strategy I use to pass this interview. And I had really different interviews, and all of them were very interesting. And I will start with this topic: types of live coding. First is simple coding task. It's really simple, and the main issue of this type that it can be done using company-owned platform or, for example, Google Docs. Yes, I wrote code in Google Docs and we resolved, I and interviewer resolved task using Google Docs, and I wrote code here, and it was interesting stuff because you don't have after completion, you don't know if this code valid or not, and so on. But I need to say that if interviewer is okay, he will not check code like compilator. No, he need only understand algorithm and how you think about this problem, and that's all. And examples how or which task I had. For example, you need reverse array. So as input you have array, for example, 2 4 3 9 4 3 9 0, and you should provide output 0 9 3 4 1. I think it's very easy stuff, but here we have to approach. One, for example, create second array and put their new values in correct order. Second one, interviewer can say, look, you should use one array only as is provided as input, and you should use only this one. You should not create any copy, any additional storage. You should not use any additional storage. And this also interesting stuff how to do it. It will be some kind of homework for you to think about it, because it's my experience, and it doesn't mean that you will meet this task 100%, but it can be. And it also additional preparing for you to think about it and pass this interview successfully, because you will prepare your brain to resolve this kind of tasks. It's first task which I received. Also, yesterday, I received a task calculate factorial. Also, I needed to do it orally, so by voice, to say how I will resolve this issue. And we discussed it two ways. I can do it iterative, so it means I have cycle 4, and I will go from 0 or from 1 to n and calculate this factorial. And also, I can resolve this issue using recursion. And it is also interesting stuff to discuss what is better and why. Yes. And next one, also, it was very simple coding task, also on company-owned platform. This company-owned platform means something like Google Docs, but with code syntaxes highlighting. And when you type something, interviewer also see what do you type. And you need to make palindrome. What does it mean? It means, can I create second word using letters from first one? Example, input word 1, not this word, this word. For example, ABC, for example, and word 2, ACB. So for this input, output should be true. Why? Because you can, using these letters, you can create second word. But for example, if we say about ART, for example, input will be false. Why? Because ABC doesn't contain letters R and T, and you can't create this word as example. And also, this task is about thinking. How do you think about this algorithm? How you will resolve this one? And which solutions you see? And here, for example, how I did resolve this task, I thought that I can take this string, order it by characters, and after it, I need to take second string and also order by characters. And after it, I will compare two strings. If they are equals, okay, it means that I can create second word from first one. But if no, I need to return false. It's the simplest algorithm how I can do it. Also, we can create hash map. For example, we can put these letters in hash map and go and we can create hash map for first one, for first word, and you will see this not only hash map, and this map will contain character and amount of characters. And the same you should do for second word. And you will compare two maps. If they are equal, okay, we can return true. If no, we will return false. Two variants, how can we resolve this task? I think it's very simple task, but you should be ready for it. Any questions now? Oh, okay, let's continue. Next one. It is coding task using platform like Codility. We have a lot of different platforms. It can be Codility, LeetCode, Coder, HackerRank, coding games, and so on. A lot of them, and companies use this stuff. And for example, I met interesting tasks, really interesting tasks, which I use in real production code every day. For example, boss task was on codility, and their first interview was with streams API tasks. So you need to create some streams to retrieve data, process this data, and return some results. And also simple algorithms. It also a part of codility. So codility will check if you do this task correct. Something like as lead code, but other one. And tasks are created by companies. And why I like codility? Because you receive your results immediately on your email. So company send you link, invitation link to pass this assessment. And when you do it, you understand, are you okay or not? For example, I can show how it looks like. Codility. Yes, codility coding assessment. Maybe better coding game. Coding game. Because they have screenshots. Where is it? Why it's not loading? Where is it? Where is results? Yes, it is how it looks like. You see question, and you need to write some code, and you can test your code. You provide some testing data, and you can submit your answer, and after it, system will check all possible tests and will show you is everything is okay or not. Did you resolve everything? I don't know why it doesn't work for me. I wanted to show how result looks. I don't want to show my own on my email. Yeah, here you see. So you can see this report. I don't know if it's show. Yes, you can see report, and this test can contain a lot of different parts. For example, live coding plus theoretical questions, and so on. And here you can see results. Are you okay or not? And you can see percentage. What is your success? And for example, here you see 96%. You use better, more than 96% of developers who passed this test. And it's very interesting metric for you, and you can understand if you success with this or not, with this interview or not. And after it, guys will return to you, this company, and say we will continue to work with you or not. I really like it. It's very interesting, and using these questions from this coding game platform, you can understand if company is okay or not. For example, if you see stupid questions, for example, how many bytes use integer type or something like that, I think it's stupid questions, and they don't show you as software engineer. They shows only, do you know this stuff or not? And I really like any questions about architectural principles, for example. I really like coding task with Stream API for Java, because in Java we use it every day, really every day. About concurrency, about client-server architecture, and so on. I really like that questions. But if they ask how many bytes in integer or I don't know what is cycle for and what is the difference between while. I don't know if this company is okay because they try to find senior developer or middle developer, and my vision that this kind of developer must know these items, and they and these questions doesn't show you as software engineer and say if you engineer or not. And also we can receive task where we need to create, for example, small web service. And this web service should be like tiny URL. I hope you know what is it. Tiny URL, when we long URL transform to short one. And for example, bit.ly, tiny URL, and a lot of them we can use. I will show tiny URL. Yes, a shorten URL. For example, I use long stuff, and I can create, I don't know, domain band. Okay. And this URL, you see it's other one. And you can go here for this tune URL, but it will be redirected to other one. And you need to create this web service. And it is very interesting stuff because you will share your screen and describe how will you create this service, how will you code it, and how will you resolve problems. Because you need to think about algorithm, how you will generate this short URL. You will use random, or you will use sequence, or something like that. Also, you need to think about validations. You need to think about REST API or not REST. It depends on you. What will you decide? What will you do? And so on. So task is very interesting, and you can find in internet how to resolve this task. But my recommendation is that you should prepare idea or any other IDE which you use. And what I mean prepare? I mean that you should prepare project, you should prepare test structure, you should prepare any other stuff which will help you to write project quickly. And why it is important? Because when you start interview, you are under the stress, and if you start to create project from zero, it will take a lot of time. For live coding, you have 30 minutes, 45 minutes maximum. And it will bad case if you will spend 5 or 10 minutes for setup project. So it's very important to prepare idea. And also you should always think about validation, tests, border cases, and so on. And last but not least type of live coding interview, on-site live coding. What does it mean? You will come to office, you will stay near guy who will your interviewer, and he will say, for example, you need to code chessboard, and he will give you idea and you will start to do it. And also you should describe how will you do it. You need to qualify all requirements, and you need stay and code everything. And he will stay behind you and see how do you resolve this task. I had two of them. I needed to code chess board, and I needed to code finance manager according to requirements which they gave me, and they said, look, we give you 3 sprints. Each sprint will be 45 minutes, and after each 45 minutes, we will go to you and you will describe what are you doing and what do you plan to do in next sprint. And it was very interesting experience. So when you can write code and you should think what should you do in nearest future and so on, and it was very interesting experience, I think, and not usual, because I have this one only one time. Yes, I think that's all about types of live coding which I met. Do you have questions now?
Hi, Andrew. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
I think I have a question. Okay, so thank you for taking us through this. But my question is a bit not. I don't know if you've discussed what do you need to know all of those advanced data structures to be able to do the coding task? Like, did you have in all your, your like with all your experiences, did you have to use say a tree data structure, for example, or what a linked list, or did you have to do all of those advanced data structures? Because I'm looking at this example coding task. And for example, I mean, you can use like a hash map, I think, for a palindrome. I mean, it's pretty basic, really, right? So my question is like, do I have to totally master those advanced ones before I can maybe start applying? Do you understand what I'm asking?
Excellent question. Thank you. I will cover it later, I think. But okay, I will answer on it now. Look, no, definitely no. Look, you should not be very confident with algorithms at all. And for example, if say about palindrome or reverse array or calculate factorial, they are not easy. They are not complex, and there are no specific algorithm for it. And sometimes you have in your real life, you have a task to reverse array. Why not? For example, you receive one data and you should reverse it and return in back order. So no problem. And you, I think you met this task and you did it. And for example, the same for palindrome. So we have task and interviewer will give you time to think, and you will try to create some variants. I described you how I did resolve this stuff, this task, but it was not, it doesn't mean that I look on this task and we can we can implement this task with two solutions and say these solutions. No, it's thinking process. You see this task and you try to understand requirements, you try to understand what they want from you, and after it you think how will you resolve this task. And from my experience, I didn't met any real algorithm problems. For example, to create a binary tree, implement it, or deep search in graph, or yes, for example, deep search in graph. No, maybe this kind of tasks will be in company like Google or Amazon or something like that. But they need guys who knows algorithms, and they didn't hide this information, and they say directly, so yes, we need guys who knows algorithms very good, and it is not problem. And if you want to go to the Google, you should prepare, and yes, you should be confident with algorithms, but not with all of them. I can say that you need only graphs, binary search, and sorting. And I think it will be enough for Google to pass this interview. If you go to YouTube and check mock interview or Google-like interview, you will find, and Google-like live coding interview, you will find that they take or easy or medium task from LeetCode. And I didn't see hard task from LeetCode. And maybe you imagine that it's very complex. No, if you're a developer and you spend all your time on work to code, this task will not be a problem for you. And as I said, sometimes you need to create algorithm to do something, for example, check palindrome, but sometimes you will have Stream API tasks which will test your functional programming coding skills. And you use Stream, as a Java developer, I use Stream API every day. Stream API replace cycles for us, for Java developers. And this task were really interesting, and I can say complex for me. So live coding, it's not something awful. No, if you code, you will pass it, I think, without any problem. But you need to prepare anyway. When you will start search new job, you need make preparations, and it's very important point. And it's because it's the reason why I prepare these lectures for you, because without preparations, it will be hard. Why? Because interview, it's not real life coding. You should understand it. Interview, it's some kind of simulation of your job or your work, and interviewer can only ask you theoretical questions, and interviewer can ask you to write or to resolve some small task. But you should understand that on code review, on interview, interviewer can't understand who are you fully. And this is very important stuff. So real everyday coding and interview process, fully different stuff. And you need to prepare for interviews. And without this step, you will not pass them. You will fail first 5 interview, and after it, you will understand which questions you asked. You will go to Google and check this information. You will cover gaps in your knowledge, and 6th interview will be successful for you. It's also okay, and no problem, I think, with it. So you should understand that interview is different than real everyday or usual coding, and we need to prepare for interviews. And I will describe how to prepare, but it will be later. So what is important for live coding? The most important stuff, if it's online, and interviewer looks to you, you should speak. You should speak a lot. You should transform your thoughts to voice. And you should describe how do you think, what do you think, and interviewer should see it. And you need to speak, speak, and speak. It's first one. Second one, always think about border cases, validation, performance, time complexity, space complexity, and other stuff. I think when you write code in your work, you think about it. You think which solution will be better, which architectural style will be better, which pattern to use here, and so on. And you do it every day. But sometimes when you have live coding, it can be very stressful for you. For example, for my first live coding, I almost forgot my Java language knowledge at all. And it was very bad for me, and easy task I didn't resolve because it was very stressful for me. I was disappointed, and I failed this interview. But after it, I prepared it. I made some mock interviews with myself. So I used web camera, and it was enough for me. And after it, it helped me to fight with stress and pass it well. So you should speak. You should think about border cases, validation, performance, complexity. When you write code, you should understand that you don't have enough time. You have only 30 minutes or 45 minutes. And you don't have time to create good names for variables. You don't have time to create good structure for your classes, and so on. Okay, it's no problem. Everyone understands that 30 minutes, it's not enough to create best application. But you should think about it, and you should say that, looks, guys, I don't have time to create or implement pattern builder, for example, here. I can say that if I will write production code, I will use pattern, this pattern here. I will create this structure and so on. But now, for saving time, I will left as is. And it will be excellent, and it will be okay for interviewer. He will understand that you understand problem of the code, and you think about solution of this problem, and you are cool if you do it. Also, but you should write code as production code and try to do it as much as possible. It means that, okay, you can't create cool explainable name for variable, but you should not use names like F, G, H, K, L, M, and so on. No, please. No, not explainable names or some bad code, very bad code. No, you can give simple names. For example, if this variable contains amount of characters, you can name amount, and it will be enough. You will give name. Okay, it can be not so explainable, but it's not very bad solution, and it's compromise for bad code and ideal code without time. And also, you should think about tests. The best way when you write unit test to test your solution, and interviewer will expect from you that you will try to write test first. And bad case, when you will, I don't know how in how it is in, for example, JavaScript. But in Java, we have class which have main method, and it is entry point for application. So sometimes guys who are on live coding, they when interviewer asks to check if code is okay, they create this main method and run application and prepare all data and run application. Okay, you can do it, but it's not best approach. Best approach to create unit test. And when you can do it, you should do it. If no, okay, you can try to start application with prepared data. But don't forget about tests. And it's very important skill, and interviewer checks. Do you know about tests? Do you write tests? And can you do it? And so on. So algorithm, how can you pass interview? First one, you must understand requirements fully. Really, you should ask all questions, and you should understand that you understand these requirements 100%. If you have any doubts, you must resolve them. You should ask questions and fill the gaps. After it, when you understand requirements, you should think about optimal solution. So when you're thinking, you can suggest different solutions, different data structures, different algorithms, and after it, you should find optimal one and try to implement it. And sometimes really good algorithm will be hard to implement because you need a lot of time to create everything clear, and it will be not optimal algorithm because you need a lot of time and you don't have it, and you need to select most optimal algorithm. It means that you can implement it during the live coding interview, and it will be better than the worst one. For example, no, I can't say examples, but bad example, but you can calculate Fibonacci numbers using iterative algorithm and using recursive algorithm. And if you choose recursive algorithm, maybe it will be easier sometimes to implement it, but complexity will be very, very bad. And better solution will be to calculate Fibonacci numbers using iterative one. And it will be the most optimal solution. When you start coding, remember about solid, keys, dry principles. Sometimes I also have students and on mental quiz, for example, and we had live coding mock interview, and they start to write code in main method in Java, and that's all. So they start resolve this task only in main method. Why it's bad? Because this code is not testable, this code is not reusable. You didn't create separate method for resolving this task and so on. So you will have a lot of troubles with this approach. And always remember about solid, keys, and dry principles. They will save your time and they will give you success with live coding. Also, when you write code, explain each line of code which you write. And after it, you should create unit test. to check your solution. It's, I think, the best algorithm. How can you pass live coding? Also, tips. When you pass live coding, you should know how you will test your code and how you will test this code if you need random values. For example, I don't know how it will be in JavaScript, but for Java, for example, it's tricky question. Return to this task about web service. We can say that we will generate random short string with for each URL. And how will you create unit test to test this random? Very interesting question. And it will be some kind of homework how to do it. I know, but I will not say. Also think about case. For example, we work with web service. We need to create web service, and we need to make requests to third-party service. And this service can be not available. And how will you proceed with it? How will you cover this case? Anyway, you should think about this trouble. And it's not a mandatory to implement, but you should think about it. And also, you should think about cases, for example, when you have list of, for example, commands. And you have command add, which will increase value, minus, which will decrease value, and clear, which will reset value. How will you proceed all of these commands? How will you save them inside code? And so on. For example, for Java, we can implement pattern command, and also we can use, for example, enums, enumerations. And both of them will help us to do it. So, or OP, or OP, I mean for pattern, or enumerations for more comfortable code organization. And last one, how to prepare for live coding. The best solution, and the most companies use it, it's live LeetCode. LeetCode is a platform where you can resolve problems, and if you buy premium account, you can see which company asks this task to implement. Also, you can how to say it, train your coding skills, because you should understand that when you use your IDE, there are a lot of, after code completion, a lot of plugins which reduce amount of code which you need to write. And for example, if you use GitHub Copilot, it also reduces a lot of code which you write. And it's a problem for you, because on live coding, you should write code without GitHub Copilot, without any plugins, and so on. For me, for example, I use LeetCode without subscription, because here I have simple code editor, and I can skill my coding skills. I can improve my coding skills to write code without IDE. And it really helps, I can say, my experience say. And I also recommend to you, you will not forget about how to do cycles, for example, ifs, how to resolve how to implement simple algorithms, and so on. Because simple code editor will, how to say it, you should move your brain to think about solution and code and how to write it. And it's very useful, I think, anyway. LeetCode, for the beginning, Why I like LeetCode? Because on LeetCode you can train algorithms, but also you can train SQL, you can train shell script, you can train concurrency, and so on. And as the beginning point for this one is study plan from LeetCode. I will send you this link where I have link all necessary references and links. What is it? I can show you, for example, my LeetCode, and here somewhere should be, where is it? Study plan. I don't see study plan. Maybe my progress. No, sorry. No sessions. No, where is it? Where I found it? Yesterday I resolved some stuff. Maybe on Explore. And here you will see. Where is it? What's happened? Sorry, guys. Maybe problems. Yes, problems. And here, yes, here, when you go to problems, you have study plan. And this study plan, you have a few of them. For example, I started SQL, simple SQL. And when I go to this simple SQL, I have, it's ready. So I have list of tasks, and these tasks are ordered by topics. And here, first day, the simplest SQL. And you, for example, need to go to this task and write or MySQL code or Oracle code. And you need to resolve this task. Also will help you to improve skills with these topics, because SQL is asked everywhere, and it's very important stuff. And you write query, you can run code to test your code on some test case, and after it you click submit, and you will see if you pass all tests or not, and you will see your how to say it, rating. So my solution beats almost all other solution, and it's okay. It means that it's optimal. But it's not an interesting point, not. No. You need to resolve this task, and LeetCode will check if you resolve it or not, and it will help you. And here, you need to resolve this task every day in a row. If you miss something, for example, here you see I didn't resolve this task, my progress will be reset tomorrow, because you have 10 days to resolve all of these tasks, and each task is each day is opened only in correct date. So it's very interesting, and it will give you possibility to make it with high discipline. So every day you will resolve few tasks, and it's easy. I think to spend for one day, I spent not more half an hour, maybe because I know SQL very well, but I think it's not a problem. Depends on you, but you can, if you will not finish all tasks, progress will reset, and you can start again. And as I remember, you will receive the same task, and you can resolve them again. So you will repeat in your brain this solution, and it will be better for you. Also, Codility provides lessons, and I really like them, because now when I started to search job, I really go through all of these lessons, and it was useful for me. I needed only iterations, arrays, and counting elements from all of these topics. but it was also skilled up my coding skills. Why I like these lessons? Because you have reading material. For example, iterations. You open PDF, you check which algorithm they mean, you prepare all necessary, you will check all necessary information, and after it, you can start task. So, but yeah, it's not only for Java, it also for C++, Ruby, Scala, but I don't see JavaScript. I don't know why it's not present here. But anyway, you have task and you have materials, and it's very useful for you, will be. And for arrays, they have other materials, they have 2 tasks, for example, and here how we will manipulate with arrays, and you can practice this knowledge. I really like these lessons. They are easy and interesting, and it can be your starting point to algorithms. They cover all algorithms which can you see in interviews. So I really like these lessons. And also you can create small projects where you will create different algorithms or specific logic, but I will cover it in next sessions. It's my way, it's my experience, and also this experience based on my colleagues who I asked for help to understand me what's happened here, what is live coding, and how to pass it. And now I have all coding interviews I have passed successfully. So I think it's small success for me, a small achievement. I will share you this document. You can start to do it. And last point, how can you prepare for live coding interview? When you resolve some list of tasks, you can go to LeetCode, for example, choose any easy problem. Okay, well, this one. You should not know about this task and conditions and so on. You enable web camera, start recording, and after it, you go to this task and start to resolve. And imagine that you're in live coding interview and describe every thought which you met, describe how will you resolve it, how do you think about this solution, and so on and so on. So imagine that it's your interview and describe this solution. When you will resolve this solution, stop recording and check this record and try to understand. When you will know how to resolve this task, you will understand where you have problems, where you go to wrong way, for example, and so on. So you will watch your record and you will understand your problems. And you don't need to do it every time, only once for 10, 20, 30 tasks on LeetCode, for example. And it's also very, very useful for you. You will see your interview from other side when you know this solution and when you understand how it should be resolved, and it will be interesting experience for you. You will understand how you think and you can improve this one. I think that's all, and I will share this this Notion note, and also I will share to you this record of this meeting. Do you have any questions?
None from me. Thanks, Andrii.
Okay, excellent. So have a good evening. we will. I will see you tomorrow, and we will discuss about how to prepare for theory. If you have any feedback, bad feedback, good feedback, please write under the topic. No, not this one, this one. Under the topic, please write if you have problems, if you can recommend me something. It's really needed for me. If everything will be okay, also please write. I need to understand your feelings. Is everything okay or not, or something like that. Yeah, that's all. Have a good evening. See you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye, Andrew. Thanks.
Bye.
Goodbye,
Thank you.
Andrew. Thanks.